Hey everybody, I'm Mike Steele with BBQ Champs Academy, and it's so great to have y'all visiting with us tonight as we got a great show lined up for you with Mr. Six-time world champion, Mr. Mark Lambert of Sweet Swine of Mine Distributing Barbecue Team. It's going to be a great show. Mark is an unbelievable cook. The guy's got more knowledge than probably 20 or 30 guys put together. His guy's just a wealth of information. And I hope we're going to have a good time tonight. Mark's got a lot of things he wants to talk about. We're going to be talking about a new class that he's going to be bringing to us for BBQ Champs Academy. And as always, let us know that you're here. If you've got questions for Mark about anything barbecue, I guarantee you, Mark will be able to answer it. I don't think there's hardly nothing this man doesn't know. So we certainly want to wish everybody a big happy new year. It's our first podcast of the new year, and we are really, really looking forward to it. Got a few folks already coming in. Mr. Scott, buddy, I tell you what, I saw those ribs that you posted just a minute ago in Robbie's forum. And man, those things looked absolutely amazing. So you sit there and you be sucking them bones down watching the show tonight because they sure do look good. Mr. Mark, it's great to have you with us. Great article that you wrote the other day. I'm sure it's out by now. We'll end up publishing that on BBQ Champs. But he's got a behind-the-scenes look at KCBS judging and what goes on by the time the food leaves your hands, goes to the judging tent. So there's a great stuff there. And it is a wonderful article. Before we get too far, though, I always like to start off with our sponsors. We'll come back to those that are coming in. Got some great sponsors with us. We got B Extreme Barbecue Rubs, and he's got an awesome sauce as well, Mr. Danny Helms. Also, Mr. Ed Riley and the folks at B&B Charcoal. Absolutely amazing product. We had Ed on here about 2 or 3 months ago. I think we're going to have to get him back on again because there's just a wealth of information that this guy's got on all of the B&B products. Also, my good buddy Brian Crawford at Lone Star Barbecue Pro Shop. He has got an amazing retail store, lots of different rubs, sauces, grills, accessories. One-stop shop for everything. He's got a lot of stuff there, and he also has an amazing line of rubs as well, and his pit spritz. A lot of people forget about those, his Crawford Barbecue pit products. Also, our good friend Craig Sherry with Texas Pepper Jelly. Gunner Well High, Mr. David, buddy, I tell you what, I appreciate all the knives that you got to me for Christmas. They were very well received, and I got some awesome steak knives, and I even got this awesome little knife that you had for cutting cheese and things like that. It is absolutely phenomenal. Wicked sharp edges on those things. Absolutely love them, and I highly recommend anybody looking for some good knives, certainly take a look at the Gunner Wilhelm knives. Also, Tappacue, we are going to be getting them on, and I know Mark Lambert is one of the retailers for Tappacue. I've got the few of the products here. We've been playing around on the bench, and we're going to have Gina on here, and we're going to work on getting her on here maybe next week or the week after. But we're going to kind of show you some of the products that they have and how they operate. They're absolutely amazing. I absolutely love those products. And obviously, Barbecue News Magazine, Kel and the group there, Mark's one of the editors. He does an awesome job writing some killer articles. And that was one of the things I was telling you. They just put out a new article. Mark went behind the scenes from the time the food leaves the box from a competition team, KCBS team, and goes to the judging, and then how long it sits, the whole process by the time it leaves the cook's hand to how long it is before it gets judged. You'd be surprised. It's in a little over 30 minutes before that food gets judged, and it gives you guys a chance to see what your food tastes like. A lot of times you may think it goes in, and literally within a few minutes it's getting judged, and that's simply not the case. We got a lot of folks join us. Caitlin, great to have you on here. You're always with us. We appreciate it. Mr. John, hello from Memphis, Tennessee. Mr. John Lindsay. John, you had a great show last night. Awesome job. Great things happening in the SCA, and we appreciate everything that you and Ronald Burns are doing on that Arcasipi Smoke Live show. Great job. Mr. Brandon, good to have you here. There's Mr. and Miss Chuck and Vanessa. Good to have you a part of BBQ Champs Academy live show tonight. There's our good friend, Mr. Bill Manning. We had him on here a couple of weeks ago in our customer appreciation. Bill, thank you for everything that you have done for us as well, and always giving us shout outs. We really do appreciate it. I hope to see you in Viter here in a couple of days. We're making the trip down there for that competition. Miss Candace, good to have you here. I hope you'll enjoy the show. There's Mr. Matt Overson. Matt has just been tearing it up in the SEA. Ashley, great to have you with us tonight. Mr. Terry Roan, thank you, Terry, for being with us. We got a lot of folks that are here. I see Mr. James Cruz is here. Russ, congratulations on a big job that you did this weekend, and congratulations on that. Awesome job. Mr. Christopher Holder, thank you, sir, for being here. Mark's fixing to come on here in just a second. As you keep on, we're going to just give everybody a few seconds, kind of acknowledge some of y'all. Christopher Holder, Big Wheel Collier, congratulations on selling out quick. I tell you what, that is some absolutely amazing product he's got, and I'm telling you what, he blew out all that rub within a matter of a few hours. Greg, appreciate you being here. Mr. Chris Cheney, brother, I'm looking forward to meeting you in Viter. I've never got a chance to meet you. I know you're one of our BBQ Champs alumni. I know you've got a couple classes. We appreciate the testimonial video that you put out for us here last month. It was absolutely awesome, and I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thanking you for reaching out and letting everybody know how good our classes are. We have a ton of people doing it in the state, trying to get more people to do it in the barbecue as well. We want to grow the sport. We're seeing what's happening with the SCA. People's making these announcements about the classes and how well they've done after taking them, and more people are doing it, and more people are getting in it. We need the same enthusiasm to be for barbecue, because we want to see the barbecue stuff grow as well. Mr. James Cooley, glad to have you here. Jim Hodgson, glad to have you with us. Let's see, who else we got? Craig, we appreciate you being here. Mrs. Connie, I see that you just popped on. Congratulations to your first place win that you had this weekend in getting your golden ticket. There's Miss Verrill, Miss Shauna. Glad to have you here, Shauna. I hope to see you up in Blanchard in a few weeks. There's our buddy, Mr. Danny at Be Extreme. Zach, Rick, appreciate you being here. Happy New Year, buddy. We've got Lisa. We got a whole host of folks here. There's David, and there's Juan. We appreciate all y'all being here. We really do. We'll try to give you guys shout outs as much as we can. And but right now we're fixing to not hold Mark up any longer. We've got quite a few folks here. I'm glad for all y'all that are with us tonight. It's going to be a great show. Don't forget to subscribe to BBQ Champs Academy YouTube channel. If you have not done that while we're sitting around doing this, if you want to scroll on over there, go to BBQ Champs Academy, go to YouTube, and go over there and make sure you subscribe to our page. We got some stuff that these posts go there as well, but we're definitely trying to grow that presence on YouTube as well. Well, without further ado, let's bring in the man of the hour, the man, the myth, the legend, the one that everybody wants to be like, including me. Hello, Mr. Mark Lambert. How are you, buddy?
You funny guy.
I know. Me funny guy. That's it. I mean, you need to go like this with all them rings lined up and them trophies. I got one little one over here. He comes in here in our studio, and he's got a trophy that's 4 foot tall sitting behind him, and I'm like, man alive, I need one of them on my mantle. So, Mark, buddy, glad to have you here, brother.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here.
I tell you right now, we're definitely looking forward to maybe us being able to get out and do a little cooking this year. So it's definitely,
we hope so.
Last year was kind of rough. We just didn't get to cook the competitions that we normally do. We got a stacked house. We got quite a few folks on here, one of our biggest nights that we've had in some time. And I've told them, hey, if there's any question that they've got for you, I doubt there's anything that you don't know about barbecues. So,
there's plenty. I'm a student.
You're still learning. Huh?
Hey,
you know what? That's one thing
cook.
about it. We always continue to learn. It's just a learning process. So anyway, Mark, I tell you what's been going on at the Sweet Swine of Mine test kitchen here lately, brother?
Oh man, things have been a little slow at the test kitchen right now. We're getting ready. We've been doing inventory, so we've been doing taking care of business. So doing a little inventory and taking care of some business and getting ready for the year. But a lot of new products are coming in, and starting to get our schedule laid out for our YouTube channel. So just like Mike said, when you go on and subscribe to BBQ Champs Academy, go over and subscribe to Sweet Swine of Mine on YouTube. We just hit 1,000 followers, and we're going to grow that page a lot this year. We're going to do some series. Different series on how to cook different things that people struggle with.
Right.
not just barbecue, but we're going to show you some techniques and things that you can use throughout many different things that you cook. And while we love cooking barbecue, it gets a little old and stale for us. So we have fun
Right.
cooking different stuff.
Right.
So we're not only going to have recipes, we're going to have instructional videos and how to work on your pit and how to diagnose and how to manage a fire and how to make a roux. And, we
Things
try to
like that.
keep it exciting. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's the great thing. And guys, once again, help Mark. I tell you what, help Mark, help me, help John Lindsay. He's trying to grow his YouTube channel as
Yep.
well. You know what? It's hard to grow these. We're not professional influencers. Look, I don't have the face for that. That's the younger generation. But we do have fun trying to get information out to people. And it's people like you that can just simply take 30 seconds, type in BBQ Champs Academy, YouTube, go over there, subscribe to our page. Same thing. Mark Lambert's, I think yours is Sweet Swine of Mine. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the
Sweet Swine.
challenge is that if you're watching on the computer, it's pretty easy because 9 times out of 10 you're logged in anyway.
Right.
But if you're on a phone and it just pops up, you may not be logged in and you can't subscribe unless you're logged in. So that's
Right.
the challenge sometimes.
Yeah. So log in and go over there and subscribe to his, and also John Lindsay. John Lindsay's got a lot of stuff that he and Mr. Hotty Toddy himself, Mr. Ronald Burns, which I think's on our show tonight, help them out as well. You guys are the backbone behind us and get us going, and we would greatly appreciate it. So,
and there's a lot of information on these YouTube channels, and that's what I talk about being a student. Is I learn things every day watching YouTube videos, watching other friends, going to a contest, watching and learning. And I tell you, the old saying, you learn more with your lips closed than you do with them flapping. Listen and talk less. And if you really pay attention, you can learn a lot. And those YouTube channels are really a great source of information and can shorten that learning curve that we didn't have that available when we were coming up in barbecue. And now it's available, man. Take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt. A lot of good information. I tell you what, the class that you put on here at BBQ Champs, it was a clinic. I mean, you was throwing words out there. I'd been cooking, 4 or 5 years. And man, I'm telling you what, Mark, you are a library of information, brother. So,
like I said, you're consistently learning and expanding your knowledge base, and that's what it's all about. If you're not doing that, you're going to get left behind.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? That's the whole thing, and I think you're right. I think people a lot of times, I know everything. Well, if you think you know everything, you're going to get left behind, because this sport that we call barbecue, hobby, whatever you want to call it, steak cooking as well, it's constantly evolving. There's new rubs that are coming out. There's new techniques that are coming out. There's little tricks and tips and things like that we keep finding. And, I ran across something on my smoker just at the beginning of last year. I guess I got to go back to the year before, because I'm still thinking we're in 2020. But in 2019, I just ran into the simplest thing that I did in my firebox that completely screwed up my ribs. And you would have never thought, on a rotisserie smoker, and my fire is not even anywhere near the meat, but there was one silly change that I made, trying to think I was making things better. All of a sudden, my ribs went away, and I'm over there chasing, like, what has happened? And I was like, okay, let's figure out some stuff here. I said I wasn't even going to cook no more competitions until I got them out. My ribs were on top, were like beef jerky. And I made the change in the firebox. It fixed it, and all of a sudden, I started killing ribs again. So you're always, and I was trying to change something for the better, and didn't even think that it would have had that much effect on it. But man, did it ever! So you're right. We always have to keep learning. So
and that's one of the things that I wanted to make sure everyone was aware of. This year we haven't had a lot of opportunity to get together and cook a lot in the first part of the year. But one of the things that helped me get to where I am in the competition world, in knowledge base in general, and you learn from other people, and the people you hang out with. I guess it was in 2009. I became a part of the National Barbecue and Grilling Association, and instantly fell in love with the association. And an association is just a group of people. So, and that's what it amounted to, is that all of these people that have a like passion, they come together for no other reason than to teach each other and energize each other and to help each other make fewer mistakes and make more money in the business of barbecue. So if you're in the business of barbecue, I highly encourage you to be a part of MBBQA for the networking. There are other benefits, but the main benefit that you get being a part of MBBQA is shoulder to shoulder learning from the people that have been in the business for years and years. And that's what I was told by a few business mentors, is that surround yourself with people that are doing what you want to do and spend time with them. And that's where you do it. Those people that have been in the business, they've already taken the lumps and they shorten the learning curve. And I tell you, I would have probably gone down some different paths that I shouldn't have had I not been a part of MBBQA. And I won't beat a dead horse, but I will tell you, if you're in the business, join MBBQA and be a part of it, get involved, and you get out of a lot more than you put into it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of information out there, and you're right. It's about shortening that learning curve, and we hear that a lot with BBQ Champ Academy classes. That these classes are shortening the learning curve. What would have taken some of these people 2 or 3 years, we've got cooks that are going out there immediately and just first place. I think there was a cook, John told me, and it may have been this weekend, that first cook-off that he did, took the classes and go out and get a first place at his first cook-off. We've had, I think Scott is on here, and I think the first competition he ever cooked in, I think he had a 7th place steak out of 63 teams, and there was 13 of the top 20 in the points chase that was there. And, it's so great to see that, there's a lot of our cooks that just get overwhelmed and just so excited to see the results that people get from taking the classes. And a lot of times they don't know. They see that they took their class, but they may not realize that same person took 2 other steak classes or 3 other barbecue classes. And, and that's how they're gaining such massive information, because they're picking the minds of all of these guys. And, it's great to have one, but man, if I can take a technique that this guy's got and a technique that he's got, and they're a little bit different, but they don't hurt each other, they complement each other. And those that are smart enough to put that little package together, tell you what, they're deadly. We got a lot of good cooks, and they are doing very, very well. So
I saw a lot of new cooks this last weekend in Laurel that that are fairly new, that have been students and have really a couple of them have won already, got their tickets and doing really well. Just their first year in competition, and it's awesome to see.
It is so gratifying to see, because that sport's growing, and we need to find out somehow to get that energy and that passion back into barbecue, because barbecue is dying to me. What do you think, Mark?
Yep, I agree. It is. It's whenever you see what you can do in the steak world with fewer resources, and meaning time, money, and energy, and really have the same returns. A lot of people are taking that path just because there are a lot fewer barriers to entry and just as many rewards. So there's a lot of people going down that road, and I hate to see barbecue taking the hit, but SCA's they're energized, they're prepared, they have done what they need to do to capitalize on kind of that lull that was happening in barbecue, and it's an even deeper lull through COVID. KCBS, NBN, all those guys have kind of really slacked off. Thankfully, things were able to pick up with IBCA and BCA, and down south, you guys were able to have a lot of cook-offs toward the end of the year.
Right.
But heck, I only got to do 3 real barbecue contests. We did San Antonio and Houston before the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And then one other one I did locally, the DeSoto Shire, was KCBS. Everything else we did throughout the year was really steak related.
Right. James posted, I'm looking forward to cooking on my new Mark Lambert autographed red box. What tip do you have for making some magic with it? I don't know. I can tell you this, James. There's some good videos that Mark's done cooking some kind of more backyard style stuff on that red box. I think he cooked a flat. Didn't you cook a flat on that thing, Mark, in like 3.5, 4 hours?
I separated a 20-pound Snake River Wagyu brisket and cooked it separate, but I cooked I cooked a competition trim brisket separated in 4 hours. And it wasn't backyard. You could have turned it in.
Yeah.
You would have done well.
It was crazy. I mean, it was absolutely crazy. Russ says barbecue champ class lowers the barrier of entry into SCA, which is what makes it so valuable. Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
that's true. You don't have to go out and spend 1 or 2 years to find the learning curve. Just take one entry to go in there, and it shortens it and it gets you on the path to walking. I mean, the classes have proven to be so successful. Same
Most
thing
people
with our
already have the
barbecue.
basics, you know.
Yeah, it's just, man, there's so many techniques that the people are telling me that they continue to learn, and with all the steak cookers and the barbecue stuff as well. And to me, that's what it's all about. It's learning techniques, it's learning cooking processes and things like that, and recipes. Let's face it. One of the things that I always remembered about your class, Mark, it was your approach. KISS, keep it simple, stupid. And one of the things that you had talked about is that balanced flavor. You don't want to be way too salty, too heat, too much sweet, too tang. You want it to be in the center of that flavor profile. And you know what? That's hard for a lot of times for people to get out, because I think the barbecue pit masters, and see if you agree with me, has changed what people, or has messed up the perceptive of what people think barbecue is. Oh my gosh, it's got to be so sweet that it'll hurt your teeth. No, not IBCA, not what I cook. I mean, I'm cooking for a backyard judge. I'm
Hmm.
cooking for a judge right off the street. I have no idea. And come back in, Mark. There we go. And to me,
Mm.
you
Something
better.
happened to the sound, Mike. I can't hear you
Okay,
anymore.
can you hear me now? All
It's
right,
all broke up again.
let's see. We was having a little issues there
I
just
don't
a
know what
second.
happened.
Um,
Just all at once.
you still can't hear me? We're working on it. We had some little difficulties with Mark hearing us right at the
There
beginning.
you go. Yeah, it
Okay,
came
we're
back.
back. Good deal. Um, but I think that's the thing, because we're cooking for we're cooking for judges off the street. Nobody's certified. And I think they sometimes miss out on the fact that, we're simply cooking really, really good barbecue. And it's nothing that's out of bounds. It stays right in the middle of that box.
Yeah, you when you take the approach to offend fewer people instead
Hmm.
of wowing more,
Yeah.
then generally you'll be a little more consistent.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It really is. It really is. Okay, I saw a question come by from Chris Cheney, who was one of the guys that has taken Lee Hickle's class and Joey's class, and he was one that posted a video for us last month, and we appreciate that. He's got a question for you, Mark. He wants to know, in your competition barbecue, what do you cook on?
Man, I started out cooking on backwoods pretty exclusively, and that's kind of where what I learned on. I learned on a rotisserie a lot like yours, Mike. Really,
Right.
um, it was an old Ed Morrow rotisserie,
Yeah.
but I cooked on backwoods for many many years. Coming up in the competition world, but since I have tried some food off of some different types of cookers, one of my favorites is drums. If
Right.
any of you guys that have seen our videos, my BBQ Champs Academy classes,
Yeah.
a drum smoker to me probably provides about the best flavor of any of the smokers that I've used. More
Right.
intense flavor, uh, barbecue pit flavor.
Yeah.
I've got drums, I got a Jambo, I've got backwoods. I cook a lot these days. What I can, I like to cook my chicken and my ribs both on a red box, because I can get both drum flavor and water flavor depending on whether I run it dry or run it hot and fast and dry, or whether I run it low and slow with water.
Right.
So I use a red box a lot, and then drums, and my offset. I
Yeah.
would say typically in the red box, but depending on where I'm going,
Right.
and back in the day, if you may see me roll out with a pellet cooker and
Right.
cook everything on a pellet cooker. It just
Right.
depends on what works out that at that time. But I'm going to say my personal favorites, backwoods, stick burner, and Jimbo.
Yeah, yeah, you can't hardly beat them. I know that little red box. I was so deadgum impressed with that when first time I'd ever seen it is when you did our class and you cooked your chicken on it. and Mark spent the night. He was getting up out of the trailer, and he slept in our trailer that night. And I was out there that morning, kind of cleaning up. And I walked over there, and I'm just steadily looking at this thing and looking at it. And I told Mark, I said, "I don't think I'm letting you out of here with this red box." And he was like, "Well, you can buy it if you want." I was like, "Sold. I'll take it with the blower and everything." And first competition I go to. Cooking on the thing, I cooked a spatchcock chicken on it down in Bunkie. I had a fourth or fifth place chicken at a BCA competition down there. First cook off. I know at the IBCA showdown in 2019, because we didn't have it this past year. 270 teams. And I had a 23rd chicken on that thing. So it's good. It's a little different flavor. And I've been back and forth. I've been back to that. I've been back to my drum. And I wish it was just a little bit bigger for me doing my spatchcock. And I know you're working on something maybe of having a little bit bigger.
There's always a trade-off. And the trade-off with that is if a little bit bigger cooker. One is we're right on the edge of shipping of a shipping weight threshold of 50 pounds. I'm sorry, 75 pounds.
75 pounds to keep it under. Okay.
And when you keep it under 75 pounds, and you keep then your shipping costs are a lot less, and your weight's a lot less. So yeah, we're working to try to put together a little bit larger unit. Again, there's just trade-offs in everything that you do. Same thing with cooking hot and fast or cooking low and slow. There's trade-offs.
It's always a trade-off.
So we're working on it. We're not there yet, but certainly working with some other manufacturers to try to put together another unit that has just a little bit more usable space without breaking the bank on shipping.
Right. That's Mark and I were at Lubbock, Texas a couple years ago. He never cooked on an offset smoker I found for him to cook on. He placed 7th in barbecue comp. Amazing. He's such an amazing guy. It was Darren. So.
Oh, I remember that. That was an awesome pit. I can't remember who makes that one, but Double D it's a really nice offset pit made down there. Right. But that guy makes a killer pit.
Killer pit, yeah. Well, I tell you what, Mark, one of the things that we do want to talk a little bit about, we got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of folks on here, so now's a good time to throw this out here. So everybody listen up. Everybody knows that Mark Lambert did his 100% tell-all class cooking brisket, ribs, pork butt, and chicken. We threw this out last year, right before COVID hit. We was trying to make it happen. We made the announcement last week when we had James on here. But we're thinking about getting Mark in here next month for a Memphis in May class. And he's going to be cooking a whole hog both ways, running and butterflied open, doing pork shoulders and baby back ribs. And just kind of wondering how many folks are really interested in cooking whole hog, baby back ribs, and pork shoulders. Matt's already, I'm in, bring the hog.
And what that's going to be is it'll allow someone, hopefully, barbecue's going to come back, but it will allow someone to go in and shorten that learning curve at Memphis in May. Memphis in May has a huge upfront expense, as most people know, but also MBN. MBN follows most of the rules that Memphis in May does. It's kind of where it came from when MBN stopped the sanctioning body. I'm sorry, when Memphis in May quit sanctioning contests, then MBN picked it up and ran with it. And really, the few changes that they've made have been for the good to grow it. Very few changes like having on-site finals and just preliminary blind judging. But outside of that, they made it to where you cook a pork butt instead of a whole shoulder. So just a couple things to sort of remove some of those barriers to entry. And it's helped a lot, I think. But the class that we're going to do will be Memphis in May centric. We'll cross over to MBN as well.
Well, so far we got 7 people, and they're steadily coming across. So it looks like that I'm going to be doing a class for Mark Lambert. Here comes another. There's James Cruz, and there's Jimmy Davis, all in 6, 7, 8. Looks like, Mark, we're going to have to do this. We were kind of debating it back and forth a little bit whether to do a Memphis in May class because it's just not a lot. But there is a lot of people that would like to know how to cook a whole hog. Mm-hmm. I would love to know how to do them. I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't have a clue. And
I'll tell you, we cooked a pig in Laurel this last weekend. I helped. I kind of helped, really. I didn't necessarily cook it, but I was there with Marcio, and Marcio pretty much did most everything, and I helped out. Mm-hmm. But those pigs turned out amazing for an eaten pig. I call it eaten pig.
Right.
It's one of those things, you mix the shoulder and the loin and the ham together.
Right.
You don't mix the belly, you don't mix the jowl, you eat all that. But all the other stuff, you're typically going to overcook the loins.
Right.
You're going to mix it with the ham and the shoulder, and all together it makes a really good blend of fat and flavor. So that pig turned out awesome. What we're going to do different is we're going to show you how to cook the ham, the shoulder, and the loin all individually perfectly. There's a lot of tricks and tips on how to do that exactly. How to make, you want the ham at 180 degrees, and the shoulders at 190 degrees, and the loins at 145 degrees. I mean, there's some techniques and tricks things you got to do, and special attention both in the preparation and the cooking to make sure that you can do that, because each one of those particular hog categories are judged individually, and if you've got dry loin, you're not going to finals.
Right. Wow. That's amazing. I tell you. And James fucking, he said, cooking's one thing. You should see this dude, what he can do with presentation. I've seen some of the stuff that you cook. It is out of bounds. It's like, my gosh, my wife, one time she walked, I think I had a picture pulled up, and she was like, what's that? And she said, my gosh, that thing is like a masterpiece. And I said, that's Mark Lambert's whole hog. And I think it was when you got third place at the American Royal in 2019. Didn't you get third? Mm-hmm. Yeah, at the American Royal. So, I mean, the guy can freaking throw down. I've been really debating whether to do this. It's been back and forth. Yeah, we wanted to do it, but man, it's going to be an expensive class to shoot, because it's just going to be a long process. And I just finally we're coming out of some of the massive debt that we're under with filming all this and getting this company up and going. And, I just told Mark, I said, it's just the right thing to do. I may not make a penny off of it, but dadgummit, if I can just help people, it's not always about money. It's about helping the sport grow. I took a huge financial hit putting BBQ Champs Academy together. And I mean, I'm just now coming out of the expense of the filming and everything. And, now what I do, well, let's go back in debt again and let's spend some more money. But we've got a lot of people. It looks like there is going to be a lot of interest here. And we are going to.
But what you've done, Mike, is that you've created trust with the barbecue community. And the same thing that you have to do with a barbecue judge in a presentation at Memphis in May is that the people that can create rapport and trust the fastest will have that stuck in the back of the judge's head. Right. If you can create trust and make him believe what you're saying, he will remember you more than the next guy. Right. And the more trust that you can create instantly, the more he'll believe, the more he'll understand, the more he'll learn, and the more fun that they'll have. That's exactly what's happened at BBQ Champs. Is people now trust that they can go there and they can find the best classes, and they know that they can go and they don't have to scrub through a bunch of video. They can go and click on the section that they want to watch and over and over again, and without having to go back and find just that part. Everything's easy to find, and it's simple to do, and it's there from now on. So that means a lot to people.
Yeah, it really does. And I think that's been the learning curve with us was, as more and more people are giving us shout outs. And I want to thank all of the SCA cookers that have this year. Y'all had so many cook-offs, and so many of y'all have given us shout outs that it has helped us, because just what Mark said, there's a lot of people that just like, how good are they? Yeah, there's some online classes that we've seen, and we got them, and they're not the same as what we did. And this was even from a long time ago. Somebody was trying to do some little stuff, and it's just all of a sudden now the trust value is there, because we told everybody, look, you guys laid it on the line. I mean, no, we're not cheap, but we're very cost effective.
We're not giving it away.
We're not giving it away, but we're giving. You guys needed to make something off of it. I mean, you have access to go back and watch these videos. And what you just got through saying, there was somebody that had sent me, I get messages all the time like, thank you so much for breaking these videos down. Because I can go back. I don't need to see the trim. I don't need to see this. I just wanted to go see what rubs and how he applied them. And I can just go back and watch that and go, yep, I've got it down. And now I can move on. And it allows them to continue to hit that mark every time, where they can produce the same food that you guys are doing because they can see it up close. If y'all saw our studio, we got 3 cameras. We got a camera literally 2 foot from the food, 3 foot from the food, and we're zoomed in on it, and you can see all that stuff.
And that's the thing that we do in Memphis in May. The way we're able to consistently place at Memphis in May is creating that trust, setting up benchmarks for the judges, making experiences available so that you combine a smell with a touch with a taste. And all those things happen in sequence to where when it actually culminates and they actually get to taste it, all of a sudden lights go off and they understand and remember everything that you said about that particular piece of meat or pig or shoulder or rib is that you set them up to believe you.
Right.
And not because you're telling them a fib. It's because there's a lot of information in a 15-minute period that you give a Memphis in May judge. Everything from the charcoal and the wood to the pit, to the team, to the where you got the meat and how you prepped it and how long you cooked it at what temperature and where you pulled it and what's in the sauce and the rub, and it's a lot. Yeah. But whenever you set up little remembrance and little benchmarks for that judge, and do a little foreshadowing, and then whenever those lights go off, when those guys walk out after they finish judging you, that's when they judge you. They make little tick marks on their cards, so they don't actually mark their scores down in the site with you. They actually walk out, and Memphis in May is comparative judging, so they don't actually mark hard scores down until they've judged the last team. They make little hash marks, and then after they've judged all 3, if you were the first one, unless you've got some tips and tricks to stay in that judge's head, you're not going to get their 10.
You won't be remembered.
And those are the things that we do to set that judge up to remember and believe and trust and enjoy the things that you've shared with them that day. Wow. That's what makes us a little different.
Right. That's interesting, Mark.
It's psyche,
It is. And and that's the little things that y'all are going to be able to learn when Mark does our BBQ Champs Academy Memphis in May class. That's what it's going to be entitled.
If you think you're just going to learn how to cook a pig and a shoulder and ribs, you're going to learn that. But that's only half of the battle at winning at Memphis in May.
Right.
Getting it cooked and getting it cooked right, like James Cruz. It's a perfect example. James Cruz cooked the year before and did fairly well. And he told me, he said, man, I know I got a good product. My judge told me I had a good enough product to win, but I needed to work on my delivery.
Right.
And he came to me and wanted just a little bit of help. And James is a friend, so I'm like, absolutely. So we worked on James's delivery. He cooked ribs for us, and he said, what do you think? I said, well, you need help with delivery. You got the product.
Right.
And we worked on James's delivery, and then wham, he finaled at Memphis in May that same year. Yep. So I believe wholeheartedly that delivery is as important as the product you put on a plate.
Right. If anybody's got any question for Mark, please, hey, let's get them out. So, but yeah, I think it's going to be a great class. We're going to still try to keep it pretty affordable. I think we're going to be able to do it for $5.99 for the whole hog, the ribs, and it'll be it'll be baby back ribs, and it'll be pork shoulders. Those 3 meats, and that's kind of what we're kicking out. I think we're going to be able to do it. We're talking about maybe $3.99 for the first one. For the whole hog, it'll be $3.99. And then to bring in each additional class, it'll be $150. But if you buy all of them together, you get $100 off. It'll be $5.99. You get the all access. So that's kind of what we're doing. We want to keep it still where it's affordable, but it's going to cost a lot more to do this class. But it's about keeping it affordable where everybody can do it, and I think that's going to be a great thing. I really do. So let's see. Got another one excited about this class. Mark, we've got probably already 15 people on here that's done said that they would be interested in this class. It's on the books, buddy. I'll be getting this booked, and we just need some pretty weather. And I guess I don't drink coffee, but you know me, I'm wired. But I'll be up all night. Whatever we got to do, we're gonna get a pig cooked. So. And Mark even told me, he said, look, I want to do it both ways. We're going to butterfly one, and we're going to do it running. If we're going to do it, by God, let's cover it all. And I was like, heck yeah. That's the one thing that I like about these guys. We don't want to cut no corners. So
there's a ton of differences in preparation of, a butterflied hog belly up versus a running pig. Running pig's a whole lot easier to prep. There's a whole lot less that you can do. there's and a lot of people do one for show, one for dough. A lot of
Right.
people do one to show for the judges, and they do one for the for the samples. I mean, so there's I know people that cook 3 hogs at Memphis in May.
Wow.
It there's a lot that goes on with it, and they do that because while you can cook a perfect hog, there you might have cooked the shoulder, the loin, and the ham perfectly, but within the shoulder, loin, and ham, there are specific parts within the shoulder, loin, ham that are the better parts than the rest. So
Right.
there's still the cream of the crop within those individual categories, and you got to learn where to pull that meat from.
Right.
And there's different techniques in the preparation of cutting the bones away and separating muscle groups to get bark and shielding to slow the cooking down or speeding the cooking up on something else in the direction that you put the pig in and how you wrap it. There's just so many little things that change. And one of the main things is that delivery. We're going to show you how to cook it, but the main thing is we're going to show you how to deliver a shoulder, a loin, a shoulder, a pig, or a rib.
Let's answer that, because Chris Cheney just said, what do you mean by delivery?
Delivery is what it takes to get the meat from the pit to the judge.
Okay.
Everything included. And what I mean by that means the delivery part is presentation, delivery is blind box, the delivery is plating, the delivery is walking the meat from the pit to the judge. The delivery is taking it from the whole piece of meat on the plate to a small portion on the judge's plate. And the explanations and the delivery and the sights and sounds and smells that go along with it.
Okay.
So it's essentially what it takes to get the meat from the pit to the judge.
To the judge.
Whether it be blind or on site.
Right. Wow. That's interesting. Okay. A couple questions came up. Bill Manning wants to know, what size pig do you like to cook for competition, Mark?
Competition pigs typically for what it has a lot to do with your pit size as far as what you can do. Bigger pigs have a little more fat content typically. We generally like them around 150 pounds.
Okay.
The carcass weight.
Carcass weight. Mark and Matt's wanting to know, what are you going to do for our class? Are you going to try to stick with that 140, 150 pound pig for our class?
Yeah, we'll stay around 150, 140. I try not to go under 140. 140 to 160 will be good.
That's what we'll do for the class. Okay, Very good. Well, I tell you what, we're going to have to definitely get it on the books, since we got a bunch of people that's on the show tonight. And if we got that many on the show that's going to bid, I can only imagine when we launch it. Somebody was asking, John was asking, when will this class be ready? John, that's going to be, we just got to try to get something scheduled probably for February shoot. We've got some very big things coming out on BBQ Champs that we've been working on for the last month. We started this project in December. We got a whole new array of competition classes coming out. And we're shooting the first series of that in February. We was trying to get it shot in late December, but we just couldn't do it. So we're going to try to get that out probably right about the same time that Mark's class would come out. So if we can get his shot in February, it would probably be sometime early to mid-March is probably where we're shooting. And it just depends on when we can get Mark in here to shoot it. So it could be the beginning of March, it could be the end of March or the 1st of April, depending on what time that we can get him in. This is obviously going to be a very long, detailed class, and we don't cut corners. When we do this, we want to cover everything when we film this, so we don't leave nothing out. So I'm going to say probably mid-March to very, very first part of April. If we can get Mark in here and we got good weather, that's another thing. It can't be storming outside. We got to have pretty nice weather. And a lot of that is just, Mark buys a pig. We gotta try to make sure we're gonna have good weather for that, because we just, he can't put it back and say, just, put it back. So, but at the same time, we can't film it if it's flooding outside. So
Yep.
you know, it's going to be one of them deals. It's just going to be, we're going to have to take a gamble and maybe have a bigger window for our guys to come in and film. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I got a lot of people wanting to know Jim Hudgens and several other. When can I come? Can I come be there? Can I come be there? I wish we could. We may look into that. We've already got Matt Overson's like, I'm in. I'm coming. You know, and I'm thinking, well, bring your sister Marissa because we'll watch her just beat you up in some state competitions. So. Anyway, but it's going to be a fun class. It really is. And if you guys are looking to step up your barbecue game, go to BBQChamps.com. Mark has got an incredible class on BBQChamps.com. As soon as you come in, you'll see all of our pit masters. You can go in, you can click it, it'll take you directly to your class. And he cooked brisket, ribs, pork, butt, and chicken. He did his chicken on a red box. We talk about all the different grills that you can cook that on. He did brisket and pork butt. I think you did those on your drum, and you did the ribs on the backwoods. I think you did them on the backwoods. So a lot of versatile cookers that Mark used in that, and I thought that was very good because he utilized 3 different type. Well, really 2. The vault type with the red box and the backwoods, pretty much the same, and then a couple drums. So a lot of versatile things that you use there. If anybody's got questions, hey, keep them coming.
And we're going to do the same thing. We really kind of have to do the same thing. With the Memphis In May class, we're going to have to cook on some old hickory pits and some backwoods, and we're going to cook on a few different types of pits, and just to try to shake things up and make sure that we explain explain the delivery. That's part of the presentation is being able to talk about the pit.
Right.
And it has a lot to do with the flavor. So, we're going to talk about a few different types of pits during that deal as well.
Right. That's good. Is anybody still getting us? There we go. We still got some stick burner. Yeah, I'm sure. Do you use a stick burner for that? Are you on your rotisserie? Or are you using what are you using? Use pellet or stick?
On burner? What? On the hogs?
I guess on the hogs was Marco.
When we cook on the backwoods, we're running charcoal and wood, and when we cook on the old hickory, we're typically just same thing, charcoal and wood.
Right.
Now we're just cooking a pig for just to be cooking it. We'll turn the gas on. But in competition, pretty much charcoal and wood, whether it's a backwoods, old hickory, Meadow Creek, any of those.
Okay, that's good. I think it's going to be exciting, Mark. I'm looking forward to it. We've already making some preps in the studio for it. I've got you we're getting rid of our table. We've got a table we can throw 2,000 pounds on now. So and it's a little bit deeper, so we've got a big one. If Joey comes in to help, we won't have to worry about him messing up our tablecloths. We always joke, and I haven't seen, and we got to wish Joey a happy birthday. Everybody shout out and give Joey a happy birthday.
Dog.
It's his birthday, so we was trying to get him on, but he wasn't going to be able to make it because he had to go out to dinner with his niece. And I was like, that's fine. I'm going to give Mark a call. We're going to work to get Joey in here for his Texas Chrome Heroes Foundation that he supports, an unbelievable organization that he has put together. And we'll talk real quick about that. Just to let everybody know, this is an organization that Joey has put together to help men and women that are suffering from PTSD, both in the military and first responders. And he brings them in, he puts them under his wing, he takes them out to show them how to cook competition barbecue, gets their morale up, shows them, gets their interest into something. And then when he gets done, he gives them all the equipment, the drum. Mark, I want to thank you because if I recall, you donated a lot of red box smokers to him to give away, didn't you?
Those guys have been awesome. Those guys, they call me every so often, fired up with bragging about their product or with a question about it. So it's really made an impact on these guys and what they do in their everyday lives because when they call me, they're just fired up about cooking.
Right, it is. But it's Texas Chrome BBQ.com. You can go find, and then he's got a place on there you can go. And if you don't mind donating some money to that, men and women, it is a great cause to help some men and women that are suffering from PTSD. And you see how barbecue and state competition does for us. Imagine what it would do for these men and women that's just, in a bad spot. And it just gets them out of the house, gets them off the couch, gets their mind on something else. And I just think it's an absolute wonderful. If
you've ever had a passion about something, a hobby, then whether it be golf or fishing or hunting or anything like that, what you know that whenever you are engulfed in whatever that is, like hitting a good golf shot off the tee box, or when you've got a 6 pound bass on the line,
Right,
or,
right.
or if you've got a big buck in your sights. The cool thing about that is every other thing in your life, good, bad, or indifferent, goes away,
Yep.
and you're focused on one thing that you're passionate about, and it allows these guys to escape that PTSD, if for no other way than for another 3 or 4 hours in a
Right.
barbecue contest, and it takes them somewhere else completely. That's what's cool about it.
Yeah. I tell you what I want to do real quick. I'm going to make things simple for you. I'm going to show you something here. Joey Smith. Can you see that screen, Mark?
Yeah.
So if you go to Facebook right now and type in Joey Smith, this is Mr. Joey. Joey is actually, he said, I don't want nothing for my birthday. What I want to do is have people make donations to raise money for the Texas Chrome Heroes Foundation. So look, if everybody could just, we're sitting here listening to the show, you can just click right over and keep watching. Go to Facebook, search for Joey Smith. This is what Joey looks like, and he's got it right here where you can go in and click and donate it. I've already done my part. I know a bunch of other ones has. He had a goal of raising $2,000. He's already at $1,220. If our brothers and sisters out there that love to get out here and cook can jump over there and do that for Joey, I know that he would absolutely appreciate it. So do that for him, because I know he would love it. Let me see if I can get that removed. There we go. So anyway, but I tell you what, I'm looking forward to it. We got a lot of exciting things coming down the line, and we've got your class coming. We've got a whole nother division of barbecue stuff that we're about to open up as well. We're working on that. We're excited. I'm trying to make sure we got all these questions answered. Oh, Red Box Steve asked what a Red Box is. Steve, it's a little small miniature backwoods. I guess you kind of call it a vault cooker. Is that kind of what it's?
Cabinet smoker.
Cabinet smoker. It's very small. It's very compact. Go to Sweet Swine of Mine Distributing, or ssomd.com. Guess what? I do know what those numbers are. Mark is the owner of Sweet Swine of Mine. It's ssomd.com. Mark has got an unbelievable line of cookers, of grills, of smokers, of rubs, of sauces, of grilling supplies. Man, what other stuff you got coming for this year?
That little Red Box, I mean, to give you a little history on it, it was the very brainchild of Backwoods Smokers. The original smoker that Mike McGowan that started Backwoods Smokers, the very first one he ever built was the exact dimension of the Red Box. And he built it for years, and he started making all the way up to, double whole hog cookers with every option you can think of. And when they did that, at the time it was called a patio. The little patio just kind of got left behind, and it wasn't really paying the bills. So eventually it got taken out of the lineup, and I worked with Mike McGowan years later, because so many people were asking. I was a backwoods dealer, and so many people asked about the patio. They love the product that you get off of a backwoods, but they just couldn't justify paying, $3,000 to $4,000 for a smoker for their backyard, and so they liked the little patio. Well, it was gone. Right. So worked with Mike and set up an agreement with him to where I could produce that overseas a little more cheaply. Adds a few value-added features to it, like stainless steel corners and latches and handles, and stainless steel racks and a stainless steel inside box to make it last longer. And then on top of that, sort of make it a little lighter, make it a little bit more efficient to manufacture, and put it in a box like a stereo receiver so you can ship it anywhere in the country. Take it off the shelf, put a label on it, and ship it anywhere you want to go. And that's what we did. We made it to where you can have the competition quality of a backwoods smoker delivered to your house and cook that same quality food at home. And, we talk about being a student. Well, we did, I want to say a good 4 years of research on that, putting it all together. And then guess what? 3 years after we launched the Red Box, we decided that we like to cook as a dry smoker at high heat just as much as we like cooking low and slow with water. We figured out it works just as well on the other side of things. So we started, we developed a dry heat diffuser plate for it that takes the place of the water pan. Right. And you reduce the amount of charcoal you use, and you can get, hot and fast, dry temperatures in this insulated chamber and create incredible old style pit barbecue flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And really, you got a little outdoor charcoal oven because it burns so clean. So
Right.
we learned a lot about it, and the next version will have some additional things done to it to make it work even better as a dry cooker as well.
Right. Right. I tell you what, I mean, it's a great little cooker. Somebody was asking, let me go back up here. Was asking, they love the steak stuff so much they're wanting to get back in. They're thinking about starting doing something in barbecue, and see if I can find the post. Would a bread box be a good choice for a first time barbecue comp? SC experience has fueled my interest in barbecue. So
Absolutely,
yeah,
especially in ribs and chicken. And I tell you what, I mean, if you need to cook more, the problem is if you need to cook more than one pork butt, it's really good for one. You can put two in it, but it's really great with
multi,
one.
yeah,
And it's great for a brisket. I've got a 5-part brisket series on YouTube that shows you how to cook a seriously good competition quality brisket on the red box in 4 hours.
right,
I've done it in 3
yeah,
one day. So it is a competition quality cooker. You do have to change your techniques a little bit, but you can certainly cook every category on it for KCBS or BCA, anything that you want
right.
to, and it's got the chops to be able to turn out competition quality.
Right, Russ. I tell you what, might be a good investment, to buy Mark's class because
Two
he'll show
hundred
you.
and $75.
Yeah, it's very inexpensive, and what I would recommend, Russ, is maybe buy Mark's class because he'll show you how to cook ribs and chicken on a chicken on a red box. The ribs was on a backwoods, was just it's a bigger red box is all it
That's all
is.
it is.
And then drums, because I think a drum cooker is an excellent thing for first time cookers getting out. It just seems to put amazing flavor on food, and they're not expensive to get into. You could buy you 2 drums and a red box, and maybe 2 red boxes, and the red boxes are $275. So you can get 2 red boxes and 2 drums, and you got everything that you need to roll out there and really, really do good. So
Yeah, it's light,
uh,
easy to load and unload, and got a
yeah.
low cost of entry. So I think that's a good option, the drum and the red box for competition.
Okay, so James, I think's being funny. Will the Dickel Sickle production, execution, delivery, and consumption process be part of the class? Ha ha ha, James. Yeah, we'll let you do that part of it. So, oh goodness
It used to be
gracious.
part of the process, so we got to
Yeah,
talk about it.
yeah, that's hilarious, guys. Look, I'm telling you, I just went over here to Joey's page, and I'm going to hit refresh one more time. We was at 1,220. Y'all are already at $1,545. You've raised $325 just in the last 4 or 5 minutes, guys. I appreciate y'all doing that. I know Joey is going to be absolutely ecstatic. Remember, all the money that comes to the Heroes Foundation is fought for everything. He gives these guys, once they come in and cook, he gives them everything. Here's your drum, here's your red box, here's you everything. Go help these guys out. This is an unbelievable organization, and I tell you right now, from the bottom of my heart, I really, really do appreciate everybody jumping in. Let's put Joey over the top. Is what Bill says. We're getting pretty dadgum close. He was trying to reach $2,000, and I think it's there. Let's see. A big thanks to the Texas Chrome Heroes Foundation for giving Carly the sweet smoker, oh my, little red box for Christmas. Yep, I tell you what, it's just absolutely unbelievable. You can go to Joey Smith. You can find him on Facebook. Just type in Joey Smith and you'll get there.
So next coming down the pipe, Mike, is I've got a new product in the we just finalized artwork on a new product today for our labels. We finalized, I would say, the beginning of December, that product itself, and have been working towards putting out a new product at the end of this month. So tell me, how many different flavors? I'm telling you, how many different types or brands of Worcestershire sauce do you know of?
Two. That's
Maybe
about
two.
it. Two, maybe 3.
Maybe.
Heinz, French, and Liam Perrins. That's
Yeah.
3.
And how many barbecue sauces are out there?
A billion.
Yeah. So
you coming out with a Worcestershire sauce? Really?
instead of coming out with another barbecue sauce, I'm coming out with a Kraft Worcestershire sauce.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it works very well in barbecue sauce. It works very
Right.
well on steaks.
Yeah.
It has a lot of applications in barbecue, but it's one of those things that I hope that it will be a staple in everybody's kitchen because it has so many applications, whether it be barbecue or Asian cuisine or seafood or steak. It doesn't matter.
Right.
So
That's cool.
it's coming out, and it was a brainchild of a good friend of mine that is also a great philanthropist, Mr. Joe Wilson. He has this Wilson Shire sauce, and that's what we're going to call it.
Okay.
And he's a little mad chemist and puts together flavors in his backyard and does a lot of off the wall different types of cooking and creating flavor. And he developed this sauce that he always put on his steaks for everybody that come to his house to eat.
Right.
And I came to his house to eat one day and I got to try it, and I was just blown away how wonderful it was, and what kind of flavors it produced, and how it really the expression umami really comes to mind because it's just one of those things you want to keep putting your finger in it and tasting it. You want to go back and go back and go back and go back. And that's what it came to because of the way he makes it with all fresh ingredients. It was hard to reproduce in a lab. It's really hard to reproduce in bulk because really you need liquids and powders and not a lot of raw ingredients that require preparation and processing. So we had to convert sort of the ingredients from that into powders and sort of rework the ratios with the vinegars and the liquids to get the flavor profile back to where it was. Let me tell you, we've gone through about 6 different revisions, and it is on point. We're working with a company out of Kansas City. Requires a 3-week incubation period to get it right. For it to age with some of the things that have to go in and come out. But Joe Wilson was I talked about it so much and raved about it so much. He said, man, I'm a construction guy. I ain't never going to do nothing like that. And I pushed him to try to do something with it. And he said, look, the world needs to be introduced to Wilson Shire. And he said, I think you're the man that needs to make it happen. He said, you need to take it and do something with it and take it out there and introduce the world to Wilson Shire. And luckily, Old World Spices, which is one of my partners that produce all of my rubs, they have a lot of different partners in the industry, and they hooked me up with Victor in Kansas City to produce this Worcestershire sauce, and they did an incredible job. Our labels are going to be coming out in about 2 weeks, and hopefully we'll have this some sort around mid-February available on the market.
That's awesome. Matt Overson said it's a killer product. He's tried it. So Ryan wants to know, when is the new version of the Red Box coming? How long you think? 6 months to a year?
Yeah, I mean, if we're lucky, we'll have it available to sell in the beginning of 2022. Just because of the significant amount of changes that we're making, and trying to work with our manufacturers to get the cost down. Anytime you're making improvements, generally it doesn't reduce the cost of things, and it doesn't reduce the weight of things, and all those things come at a cost, and we have to figure out how to temper that a little bit.
Yeah. You're making it for the best of everything to keep the price down, affordable, but yet a little bit bigger. That's a great deal, Mark. You're an ambassador for Barbecue Brother, and I'm telling you right now, I'm honored to call you my friend, and I'm beyond honored to have you on Barbecue Champs Academy. You have been you've had my back ever since the get-go of this, and we're working and striving and doing everything we can to grow this, and it's doing it. We're getting there. And
another organization, I talked about Joe and being a philanthropist, and trust and creating trust. That's one of the reasons I came to Barbecue Champs Academy, because my good boy, my buddy Joey Wilson, I'm sorry, Joey Smith. Joey Smith, he called me and told me, he's like, look, I'm working this deal that I think you need to be a part of. And when you've got a good buddy like Joey and he gives you the nod, you need to go do something, well, you don't ask many questions. And that's that trust factor we talked about the Memphis In May class and with judges. And so when you've got the trust factor, things move a lot faster. With trust, things go a lot, or things happen less expensively. You spend less money with more trust, and things move faster with more trust. So with Joe, whenever I started spending a lot of time with him, he's very passionate about the police and the military as well. And Joe started a really cool organization called Stakes for Sheepdogs. And we actually we've been fortunate to be a part of an event last month where we went to a police department that lost one of their brothers, and we cooked steaks for the entire police department and their families. And actually were able to get some of the kids of some of the fallen officer out there to cook with us. We gave him a red box to take home and cook on, just to help, fuel the fire with those kids down the road. So he is doing his part to reward and pat our police departments on the back whenever they need it. And if you guys want another organization to be a part of, Steaks for Sheepdogs is a great organization. He gives back everything that goes in, and it's go on and like it on Facebook, and you can see when they're going to have events, and we'll hopefully tie you in to get to see how rewarding it is to go and do something for the police that don't get a lot of good things done for them. They tend to be frowned upon rather than patted on the back, and it's a cool thing to get to go do.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank everybody. I just checked Joey's page. He's up to $350 just in the last 10 minutes.
Cool.
I know Joey's going to appreciate that so much. I tell you what, I think we've got all the questions. We're running out of time. We try to keep this thing in about an hour, a few minutes over, but that's fine. It's Mark, it's always great having you on here, buddy. I think we could have talked for another hour. We had a lot of folks on here tonight. I appreciate everybody being here. And guys, be looking for this new class that we're going to be having coming out with Mark Lambert. It'll be his Memphis in May class. Y'all have kind of put the word to me to get this thing out. A lot of folks got some interest in it, so
it'll be fun.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a long show. It's going to be a lot of fun doing it. And guys, from the bottom of my heart, we appreciate you being here with us. Don't forget to check out on Monday night the Arcasippy Smoke live show with Mr. Hottie Toddy himself, Ronald Burns, and John Lindsay. They come on Monday night at 7:15 pre-show. 7:30 is their actual show. Please make sure that you're getting over there and checking those guys out. Between his show on Monday night and mine on Tuesday night, we should have your barbecue fixed in till the weekend gets here. My barbecue brothers and sisters, if I see y'all this weekend, I'm going to be down in Vidor, Texas, doing my thing, seeing if I can get a repeat from that last one that we had up in Marksville, Louisiana, in the end of November. It was a great one. I jumped in a swimming pool, and it was well worth it. I'm not going to say I'm going to do it now in January, and they don't have a pool around, thank God, because I'd probably be stupid enough to do it. So, anyway, Mark, any final thoughts closing?
Nope. Everybody stay safe and stay healthy. We pray that everybody has a great 2021, and you hope may your name be called last. So God bless everybody.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mark, for being on. To all of our fans out there and our listeners, I tell you what, we appreciate you being loyal listeners here. Please, please, please support our show. Be here every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock Central Time on Tuesday. We always try to bring some kind of informative information, product knowledge. Our stuff is just trying to help educate people. That's what BBQ Champs Academy is all about. I've had a lot of fun with this show. Mark, thank you for being here. And as we close out our classes every time, have a lot of fun and smoke on.
Good night, guys.